my name is Leah, and I am a clinician here at Therapyology. So I decided to become a clinical therapist for kind of a multitude of reasons. There were a lot of things I personally experienced throughout my life, whether it be with my family, with my peers, through my personal life experiences, that ultimately just led me to this point. You know, therapy is a really awesome, beneficial tool that I look back and I wish I had access to when I was younger, and that really plays into the work that I do with the kids and young adults that I work with. So I didn't always know growing up that being a therapist was the right spot, the right fit for me. I considered a lot of different career fields. I feel like I've had a lot of different passions throughout my life, but one thing that stayed a constant was I've always been able to form a really good rapport with youth, and I feel like seeing how I have impacted and shifted their lives through different experiences has ultimately led me to where I am. I always knew that it was a tool that I wish I had, and knowing the rapport that I do build with children, I just felt like it was a really good fit for me. I went through a couple of different majors with school and ultimately ended up deciding that this was really the right place for me, the right path. And once I did end up here, it felt right, it felt secure. Throughout my educational journey, I've been on a lot of different paths, but ultimately I ended up graduating with a bachelor's in social work and then a master's in social work. I attended Oakland University, and then for my master's attended Wayne State University. And getting my master's was a really incredible experience for me. I had the opportunity to intern at the Children's Hospital of Michigan in Detroit, and it truly was an experience like no other. I worked on the infectious diseases floor and the hematology oncology floor, and got to work with a multitude of different backgrounds and different people, and just got so much experience, and it really shaped who I am today. It gave me so much insight on a plethora of different things that people have challenges with in different walks of life that there are in our community and other communities, and it just really shaped the work that I do now and the values that I carry with me now, and it shaped the therapist that I am today. While I was working at Children's Hospital of Michigan, I spent a lot of my time on 6 East, which was infectious diseases. And luckily enough, during that time, this was also when COVID was extremely prevalent. It was during the first year of COVID. There was, no vaccines out there. There wasn't a lot of research. It was still pretty much locked down. I remember restaurants were still closed during this time. And being on the front line was a really unique experience for me. I remember, wearing 4 masks at a time, and I would walk out of the hospital and have lines all over my face. And, there were times when my family had said to me, you can't come home for a couple of months. We don't know what's going on. Things are really bad, and you're around it every single day. So, we love you and we wish you the best and good luck, but you can't come home right now. So that was a really unique experience, and having lived through that and worked through that really played into my values and the work that I do now. It showed me how to prioritize things and what's important, and how to really stay true to who I am and recognize the ethics in the work that we do and how much that plays a factor as well. As a therapist, I have the opportunity to work with a lot of different individuals, and it provides me with opportunities to work with people who have a multitude of different challenges. I work with children who are kind of dealing with the challenges that come with having parents who are in the process of getting divorced, or parents who have been divorced for a long time and may be working through really high tension divorces. I also work with a lot of individuals who have anxiety and ADHD, ranging from all sorts of ages, some of the youngest being around the preschool age and some of my oldest clients being in college. You know, it doesn't really matter how old you are. Everyone is unique in their needs, and everything will look different for the individual. I do a lot of work on coping skills, understanding coping skills, the purpose behind coping skills. I do a lot of work on planning and being organized and helping kids with structure in their day-to-day lives so they're able to function as best as they can. A lot of work on understanding how change works and how habits work, and being able to, you know, live a life that you want to live based off of how you live your everyday life. And it all depends on the individual, but I really try to get to know the individual for who they are and not put them under a label or put them in a box. You know, everyone deals with challenges in different ways, and everyone's challenge looks a little different. And I always say, you can drown in an ocean and you can drown in a pond, you know, so one problem isn't necessarily larger than the other, and everyone's situations and challenges are valid. When it comes to therapy, we often hear about coping skills, and coping skills kind of get a good rep or a bad rep depending on how you hear about them. You know, some people are like, oh my gosh, they saved my life, and some people say, yeah, they didn't really do anything for me. So I tend to focus a lot on the purpose behind coping skills and really providing psychoeducation on not only how to use them and what they are, but what the intent is behind them. So a couple of my favorite coping skills are challenging negative thoughts and reframing. I do a lot of work with my clients on how we talk to ourselves and how we think about things, and how we could be thinking about things differently, and really trying to look within and saying, okay, what can I control? What's out of my control? What can I control? And trying to work within that control to be able to do the most that you can and see the most change. I often say to my clients, you know, change doesn't happen if change doesn't happen, meaning that we have to put in the work. We have to actively be doing things so that we can see results and see change and see a life that we want to live. So doing things like journaling and writing out our negative thoughts so that we can actively try to challenge them, or doing something like saying to ourselves, you know, what's the worst that could happen, and then trying to visualize that and knowing that we will be okay. You know, we are stronger than our biggest negative thought. So that's kind of the direction that I like to take with coping skills and what I use a lot with my clients. Therapy is such an awesome tool for anyone who has access to it. It's a beautiful thing. You know, I have these things that I say to my clients, like, you know, change doesn't happen if change doesn't happen. And another one of those things I say is that, you know, you don't go to therapy because you have to go, but you deserve to go to therapy. You know, therapy isn't something that you do just because something's wrong. You know, it keeps you on a good path. It keeps you ahead. It keeps you motivated. It keeps you thinking. It keeps you working and striving towards goals. It's a privilege to be able to be so organized and have a place that is truly yours and no one else's, and to be the best version of yourself, and to be constantly working and evolving as a person. So it's a beautiful tool for anyone to have. A big topic that I see with my clients is breakdowns. It's always, well, I'm gonna have a mental breakdown. I know I'm gonna have a mental breakdown. Oh, it's the night before school, I'm having that mental breakdown. Oh, you know, I have this going on soon. Like, I just know I'm gonna break down. So really working with my clients on what we can control in these situations and being able to navigate them together to hopefully have a better outcome and avoid having that breakdown, and being able to look at a challenging situation in the future and being able to say, you know what, I am strong enough, I'm capable. Yeah, this is a situation that scares me or makes me uncomfortable, but I know with the right tools, I can work through this and not break down from it. Another trend that I'm seeing is perfectionism. Everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to be perfect. You know, kids these days have such high stress levels from school. There's so much pressure to be a 4.0 student and to get a perfect score in the ACT or the SAT and to go to university of whatever, the best college, go to an Ivy League. There's so much pressure to be the best instead of just being your best self. And that's another thing that we work on in here, is being able to be your best self and not necessarily being better than others, you know, and not everything has to be perfect, and being able to give yourself grace. There's so much pressure these days with social media and the schools that kids attend and the activities that kids do, whether it be, you know, going to a dance class and being the best kid there and being in the best shape, or whether it be, you know, playing on the football team and being the best player and being not put on the bench at all, or going to school and having to score a 36 on your ACT, whatever it may be. Kids these days are striving for perfectionism instead of striving to do their best and continue to grow. And that's been a huge trend in the office and in my office, is just seeing so much perfectionism. To anyone who's considering therapy, I say give it an honest try. You know, even if that means you're on your third or fourth therapist and you're convinced that you hate it and that it doesn't serve a purpose. You know, every therapist has different modalities, every therapist has different techniques, and it's a different experience. And sometimes it does take trying out a couple of times or a couple of different people till you find where you fit best, till you click, till you find your match. And that's okay. You know, it's okay to say to a therapist, you know what, I don't think this is a good fit for me. And it's also okay to give a new therapist a try. I didn't know that therapy could be such a positive experience for me. And, you know, what I do with my clients is I have a very honest policy with my clients. I always tell all of them when they start, you know, if you don't like something, you let me know and we will do something else. We will go about it a different way. We will accomplish the same goal, but take a different path. And that's okay. You know, therapy is supposed to be something that's beneficial. It can be enjoyable. And of course, there's times where you talk about things that maybe aren't the most fun, but at the end of the day, it should be something that feels like a stress reliever and it's not stress inducing. You know, you want to feel comfortable. You want to feel like you really found that person who gets you, and you can just come and share and work and do the things that you need to do to be your best self. So 3 random facts about me are that I love to read. Books are really awesome, and I also love sushi. If you ask me anytime what food I want to eat, it's usually sushi. And if I could pick up any new skill, it would be knitting. One last thing I would love to leave everyone with is that my door is always open. I think therapy is such a beautiful tool, and I want to be here to help as many people as I can navigate as many different challenges as there are. So come say hi. My door is always open, and this is a place for everyone.